And hello, one and all, and welcome to episode 4 of the Giza Wrestling Report. It's a great feature that I started on my channel. In this edition of the Giza Wrestling Report, like we always do, we're going to be breaking down all of the top stories and news for this week in professional wrestling. And with me, I have, as I always do, I bring on special guests. This week, I have Nerd Coalition. Nerd, I just want to say thank you again for joining me for another video collaboration.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be on this show finally. I've really been a big fan of the show.
Thank you. And like I said, I always want to bring the best content that I can to my channel, and this is a great feature. It's great to bring, two like-minded people on and just discuss, the happenings in pro wrestling. And there's always a ton of stuff to talk about, and to me, this was the perfect forum. We just bring it all together and we just go with it. So this should be another good discussion. Thank you to all those who are tuning in live. Like I said, this is airing live on YouTube as of October 2nd, 2016. So without further ado, like I said, links to the articles, which I have to always say at the start of this, they were obtained from WrestleZone.com. So I want to say thank you to WrestleZone for providing these articles. And all the links can be found down below in the description box. If you're watching live, feel free to comment in the live chat. We'll get to those, whoever's watching. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into our topics of discussion today. And our first topic of discussion that I wanted to throw in there, I found this interesting. I was kind of a fan of this guy until he recently left WWE. Ryback. As you all know, Ryback is reportedly in talks with Bellator MMA. I found this interesting. According to Flow Sports managing editor Jeremy Botter, reports of Ryback being in talks with Bellator MMA are legit. Botter's confirmation stems from a related story from earlier this evening after Ryback appeared on a CBS affiliate in Las Vegas and discussed the idea of entering MMA. The RBR Into the Octagon Twitter originally reported Ryback said he was open to the idea of MMA and said he was in talks with Bellator. This is certainly interesting. Like I said, I was kind of surprised, but then I wasn't surprised with what happened with Ryback. As you all know, his contract negotiations, they broke down with WWE. They couldn't come to an agreement. So I definitely saw him going somewhere else. But definitely would be interesting seeing him step into MMA. Not really sure how he'd do. NC, what are your thoughts on Ryback, where he's headed, and potentially going to Bellator?
Well, to be honest with you, I seen Ryback at the House of Hardcore 18 that came to Philadelphia last week, and he did not get a good reception from the indie crowd.
Really?
So I don't think that, the indies will work well for him. This will probably be a good platform for him to work at. How good will he do, especially after seeing CM Punk get his ass kicked? I'm not really sure. How that's going to work for him, because I just see Ryback as just, a muscle-bound dude. Whether he's on steroids or not, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, but he just does. He doesn't look like a legit badass fighter, like a Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar. So I mean, if he wants to try the avenue of Bellator, I mean, best of luck to him. But right now, I kind of think he's going through that. I think he kind of wants to. Mad that he left WWE the way he did.
Sure. He obviously felt like they didn't capitalize well on his potential. And I think we can all agree from 2012 onward, just the way that he was booked, he was on this great winning streak, and then he lost to Punk. And then he lost at Survivor Series. And then he lost at, TLC. Rumble.
Yeah.
Freaking Mania when Mark Henry fell on him. And then, I love this. I bring this up every time. What happened after all that losing? He gets a title shot. And then he loses to John Cena in that feud. Ryback was born. It's just like ever since, I'd have to say that 2012, when he was actually kind of getting over and getting some momentum, and then they just royally F that up. So I wish Ryback the best. Like I said, to me, it seems like he's not really sure where he wants to go or what he wants to do next. So I was always a fan of him, and it was sad to see the way that he was misused. But hey, it happens. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. You can't do nothing about it. I mean, tell you the truth, I actually kind of like Ryback more after the Ryback's things. I felt sorry for him.
Sure.
It didn't do anything for him, though.
Yeah. So anything else you want to say about Ryback before we move on to our next topic?
Block first. Don't swing like CM Punk did.
Yeah. Don't get taken off your feet. And if you do that, that was ugly for Punk. So, yeah, I don't think he can do any worse. So the bar
Exactly.
has been set. Here is the huge, this has been the talk of the wrestling world. We've been going back and forth on who's going to buy them, what's going to happen, are they going to stay open? And of course, I'm talking about TNA, Total Nonstop Action. And this is the latest that I've heard as of today. It says TNA Bound for Glory is taking place. And according to a new article published by the New York Post today, TNA Bound for Glory will be taking place on Sunday, as this is interesting. An unidentified third party, which is not Billy Corgan or WWE, provided a cash infusion, allowing the pay-per-view and next week TV tapings to take place. The article featured Corgan commenting on the events, noting, this is what he said, "It's a go, as far as I've been told." The report notes TNA spent much of the week negotiating with WWE and Corgan for a cash infusion to pay for BFG, sources said, but sources speculated the actual advance came from neither of these two, but from the unidentified third party. Corgan and WWE are expected to resume talks about a change in ownership after the weekend's broadcast, sources said. WWE had no comment. NC, we'll start with you. I know you've been following the happenings with TNA. How do you think this situation will most likely play out, in your opinion?
This has been a whole cluster of just news going on with TNA. And it's really sad because I used to be a huge fan of TNA back in the day.
Sure.
And it's sad that, that their, flagship show, has a question mark to see if it's going to be, brought to you. Now, it's good to hear that Bound for Glory is going on.
Sure.
But to be honest, I don't know what the state of TNA is for the rest of this year. Of course, there's the rumors of Vince McMahon trying to put his hand in it, and I don't think Vince McMahon is actually trying to buy it. I think he's just trying to get the library so he can show some footage for the TNA stars he already has over at WWE right now.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, my worst fear is I really think that I think it may just go out of business by next year.
It's just, if you look at it, it's just a shame the way that the idiots in charge of this company have just really run it into the ground. I don't really blame the talent. I really never usually do unless, they show signs of not trying hard enough or whatnot in the ring and on promos. But it's not their fault for the position that TNA's in. I mean, it's just, this company has just been mismanaged so long. And I'm surprised it still lasted, over 15 years later? Coming up on 15 years. They were founded in 2002. So that's a testament to how, while they always seem like they're on the brinks of dying, they find a way out of it. So, I hope they stay open just for the fact that it allows guys the opportunity, like I've been saying, like, for instance, who was it? Drew Galloway, EC3, and Damian Sandow, Cody Rhodes is going there. It gives these guys just another place to work. Another opportunity besides WWE. If they're not doing anything with them, hey, you can go there, you can make a name for yourself, and then maybe eventually go back to WWE. But I would hate to see that, guys lose their jobs and, just the whole process that goes along with a place shutting down. So I'd like to see Billy get it. He seems to want to do what's best for the company, potentially do a complete rebranding. I think that's what would need to be ordered. You need to drop TNA, the initials. You need to start from scratch and then build your way back up, just because the name, the brand value, the name alone is just kind of toxic at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you turn to, TNA or Impact is still within the same circle. And my personal opinion, TNA started dying when Hogan and Bischoff came in there, and that was the wrong move.
Because they were actually growing. Up until that point, I believe, if you look at the ratings and whatnot, they were slowly starting to grow over time. Exactly. And then Hogan and Bischoff came in. They got that big bump on Monday night, but then it just kind of spiraled out of control.
It spiraled out of control, and then also TNA didn't want to listen to Spike TV because that was the best channel for them to be on.
Sure. Huge platform.
And them not taking the initiative of what Spike was saying, and about I say they happened to WWE when they was on TNN at the time, back in 2004, 2005. And they got them kicked off, and now they're on a station that really nobody either has in the East Coast or watches.
Sure. Like Pop TV, what is that?
To be honest with you, I just found it was on Pop TV about, I don't know, a month and a half ago. I also thought it was on Destination America.
See? It doesn't help jumping from network to network, because then you're already confusing the people. It's like, wait a minute, you were confused. Like, where are they? It's like, I can't keep up.
And I would have to say that, they better thank Matt Hardy and the K for everything they're doing over there. That's the only thing that's keeping that thing afloat.
That's great stuff because I've watched some of it. It's something different. It's never really been done in this type of way before. So kudos to them. They're killing it from what I'm seeing. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff. So I'm happy for them. Like I said, I just want to see. I hope Billy is able to acquire it. So we'll have to see. This situation, this story is far from over. So we'll have to see where things go in the weeks and months to come. So anything else you want to add to this story before we move on?
Oh no, what I'm saying? Like I said, I wish them the best. There is some talent that I just wish they'll get a better shot. But I hope they can stay in business. I hope we can have more competition. It's healthy for us wrestling fans and the business.
Exactly. So couldn't have said it better. So let's move on. Here's a quick injury update from NXT. Elias Sampson. NXT star The Drifter Elias Sampson is currently being advertised for an NXT live event in Lakeland, Florida on Thursday, leading to speculation that he's been cleared to return. Sampson has been sidelined since June with an ankle injury sustained at a live event in Nashville, Tennessee. Elias Sampson, he's from Pittsburgh, so I got to show love and support for my hometown boy. I still see potential in this guy. It's just haven't really seen much from him that's kind of stands out. I definitely see the potential that exists within him. I just hope that he comes back from injury and he can be beneficial to the NXT brand. What are your thoughts on Elias Sampson? Do you see any type of potential in him, down the line for him to develop as a character, as a performer, wrestler?
Now the thing with Elias Sampson is, to be honest, I was never a fan of him. I was never a fan. Shout out to Pittsburgh, but not him. I was just not a fan of Elias Sampson at all. But I think some of the things that, because I've seen Elias Sampson in live shows when they have came to Philadelphia, and I've seen his character, and I think his character is just not getting over with this modern day audience.
No. The Drifter, they say drift away or go to sleep. They're bored. They're tired. Yeah.
And it like the whole guitar gimmick since Jeff Jarrett did it back in the 90s. It's not, I don't think it's getting over the kids or with any of us wrestling fans. And he doesn't have, usually when a new talent comes in the wrestling business, you want to see something that gets you off the edge of your seat a little bit. He doesn't have an impressive moveset at all.
No. He's got the look, I think, and you could build off that. And I definitely think if we could hear more of him on the mic, I want to see with this guy how he can cut promos. He really hasn't said much. So his moveset, it's basic. It's okay. Nothing, like you said, that really stands out. But I think with some tweaking and maybe a different change in character, who knows? Maybe he could succeed. That's what I'd like to see, a tweak to his character, definitely.
I want to see a tweak to his character, but I want to see some, like, give me a reason why he's doing what he's doing. And I think since they was in the dark and they never gave me a reason why Elias Sampson was Elias Sampson, I think it got a lot of people turned off by the character.
Right. I definitely agree. And I kind of forgot he was out with the injury. So that really goes to show, he hadn't really left a lasting impact. I'm like, oh, he's coming back. I kind of forgot he was injured. So
exactly. It's like,
Oh, okay. So, that's really all I have to say about him. It'll be good to have him back, I guess. Glad to see the guy's, healthy. So wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he can turn his track around. That's all really I have to say.
Yeah, because NXT can use, some more people to the roster right now.
Sure. And it'll be a good way to help, that's what developmental is all about. Let's see the development of Elias Sampson and where they go. So
okay.
We shall see. So here we go, folks. This is the fun part of the show where we talk about ratings. And this week, Monday Night Raw. And it's a bit unfair because, of course, they were going up against the presidential debate, which got, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was it 81 million viewers that debate got?
Yeah, I think it may have been over that.
Over. So we're in the 80 million range. Like I said, I was watching it. I tuned Raw out after the first hour, and this correlates nicely with what I'm about to read here. According to ShowBuzzDaily.com, this week's edition of Raw, like I said, which went up against the debate, and Monday Night Football averaged 2.478 million viewers, which is down from last week's 2.684 million viewers, and another new low for Raw dating back to the 90s. For this week's show, here's the hourly averages. 2.850 million viewers for the first hour. Look at this drop-off. 2.381 for the second, hour, and the final hour drew 2.203 million viewers.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can see the drop-off. I wasn't the only one that tuned out after that first hour because I knew the way that the show was going. I'm like, I mean, did I really miss anything in those final 2 hours? I mean, did you watch all three, or did you end up?
Well, see, unfortunately, it was just like, which one's going to make me more
Yes.
pissed? Is it going to be the debate, or is it going to be Raw? So I was just like, at that time, I tried to watch the debate. I took the lesser of two evils,
Sure.
and I said, I'd rather Vince just piss me off
Sure.
than the country pissing me off. And then of course, there was Monday Night Football. So I tuned in, and to be honest with you, I'm surprised they even got 2 million viewers.
I know. That was actually my prediction, around 2.2, 2.1. I didn't think they would dip below 2. Now, the interesting thing, this is going to be the interesting thing, the follow-up. How will the ratings do this week? I mean, it would be really worrying if they, hovered around this number. I don't think they will, but that would be a huge concern. I think they will bounce back maybe to 2.6, but they're still down. And it's worrisome. I mean, I know I've discussed this before in the past with viewing habits. Yes, they've changed. There's DVR and blah, blah, blah. But here's the point I keep wanting to bring up. What were Raw's ratings? Let's just go back last month.
Sure.
Where were they? Around what, 3.3?
Yeah, 3.3 million, because right there we was at the height of the draft.
And where are we now? Potentially down to almost 2.8 to 2.6. That's a drop. That's a pretty damn steep drop.
That's
and
over 50%.
And it's like, isn't that a worry? I mean, what, those people just decided, I'm going to DVR. I'm sure they probably did, but it's like they're not really invested enough to tune into this 3-hour show like they were in September and going back to August and July. I think even Raw got up to a 3.5 for the draft episode, which was what? The viewership went up. Why? Because it was a good show.
It was a good show. And the after that was next. It was good, too.
And then ever since then, it's just been kind of meh, It's just been good.
See, now, for me watching the whole Raw, I think, I ain't gonna say, I'm tired of saying I think. I know some of the problems is that we thought that when they drafted their roster, they said Raw has an intense roster more than SmackDown, but SmackDown just knows how to book its superstars a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say like Vince don't got his hand in both things, but I think he has his hand more in Raw. And what we're doing, we're getting a lot of rematches. In my personal opinion, the cruiserweights were brought on bad.
Mm-hmm.
The main event was lackluster at best.
Yeah.
And then this whole thing with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon, look, it's just it
emasculated him. That's what I heard. I didn't watch, but I just listened to Solomon today.
Oh.
She literally emasculated the dude. I mean, get her off my get her off TV. She is awful. She's a great person, I'm sure, off the television, but her character is a channel changer at this point.
Yeah, that's a good word right there. Channel change. I like that.
Get that trending when she's on there. Change the channel.
Because she definitely did emasculate Mick Foley to the point where I forgot he fell off the Hell in a Cell and actually became a badass. So awful. I was like, this is just terrible. And then you have the crowd now. WWE knows what this audience is like, and right now, the days of the slow burn storylines, unfortunately, are over.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see Triple H. They want to know why.
Yeah, no follow up.
And there's been no follow up. Everybody's still trying to debate if Seth Rollins is really injured or not. Like,
yeah,
for real, if it's a shoot or not. And if your main event is consists of Kevin Owens and Jericho versus Enzo and Cass, no disrespect to Enzo and Cass or anything of that nature, but it was really just nothing but rematches and put together matches at the last minute. And I'm just like, Raw, you're suffering really bad, especially around football season. This shouldn't have to happen. You should really take time and book quality shows.
Sure.
And sometimes it's I don't need to go out and do an Eric Bischoff and get his band. All I need is just do something simple to help the story and the show flow way more better. And once again, it's beat to death like a broken record. The 3
Yep.
hours is just not helping it.
Ugh. It's
The 3 hours
exhausting.
is not helping it at all.
No, it ain't. And I'm wondering how low these ratings can have to continually go until it finally convinces USA Network to pull their heads out of their asses and be like, let's just make this show 2 hours again. What do you have to lose at this point? It's not like it's pulling in these massive ratings anymore.
It's not pulling in the massive ratings, but the problem is it's still pulling in
Enough
steady enough ratings
that they can just, it's doing better than an SVU rerun would do. So let's
SVU is like on season 1400, so it's not going to it's going to do better than that. Than the Chris Lee show. A lot of things that people have on USA, Raw does better than that.
That's the problem.
Yeah, so we look at it as wrestling fans like your show is bad, but as a business standpoint, USA, that's the best show that they got. It's just unfortunate they're going up against Monday Night Football. And we got, the whole election day coming up within a couple months, stuff like that. So they're going up against all these things and Dancing with the Stars and all that kind of stuff.
Gotham and whatever else there is on Monday nights. There's a ton of TV. And I love it. Vince says, here's the bullshit. Oh, we compete with everything else out there. You said it, Vince. So why don't you actually try, put on the best show you possibly can, use Monday Night Football as your legit competition, and compete against them and try and beat them in the ratings. What is so hard about taking that mindset? I don't get that. That should be your competition if you have really. I mean, look, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Vince is old. Vince is set in his ways.
He don't care.
He really does. No. Okay, now there. I want to say this. I'm not going to say Vince doesn't care.
Sure,
because Vince is.
He's workaholic.
He's a workaholic. I think Vince is just out of touch of what he thinks the fans want.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it's like what Triple H has done at NXT is not is not transcending to what is going on Raw.
No,
and
it's not.
Vince McMahon is a huge main event guy, and he's a huge big guy. So when you got people like these cruiserweights come in, or you have people like Seth Rollins actually chasing for the championship, and nobody's feeling his Roman Reigns project, he's at a loss.
Yeah, he's like, well, what's going on here? Oh my God.
And I really think as soon as they come in for Raw, he says, "Oh, you work tonight? Yeah, just put you on a list. Go out there and be great."
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened. I don't even think he touches the cruiserweights.
Which is a good, because he'd be like, the cruiserweights, feed them to Braun Strowman.
Exactly, yeah. And then they're going to be like Abyss. He's going to win the Cruiserweight Championship.
Sure. Oh, God. I could only imagine. That's Vince's wet dream, probably. Literally, just they keep coming down, and Strowman beats one, beats Kendrick, beats Perkins, beats them all.
And on top of that, they start chanting CM Punk during the Cruiserweight match.
Yeah. I think the matches, well, like I said, I didn't watch the last 2 hours of Raw, so I can't judge what happened in the ring. But from what I heard, are they really letting these guys go out there and having truly the best matches that they possibly can, or are they still limiting them? Like I felt like they limited them on Clash of Champions. I really felt that they kind of put shackles on them in a way and didn't allow them truly have these amazing, captivating matches that we know that they can have. Just do what they did on the Cruiserweight Classic. What is so hard about that?
Well, now here's the thing, because when I seen the Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann tag match, and I see the Brian Kendrick stuff, now Brian Kendrick get a little old. He botched a lot of things at Clash of Champions. But they are having, like when Tony Nese came up, him and Jim Perkins had a good match. That wasn't the problem. But I don't think that they're capitalizing on these characters. And it's like right now, Rich Swann is probably the most, charismatic cruiserweight there was in the tournament.
With the kick-ass theme song. God, exactly. I love that song.
And they're not using it right. Everybody chanted for them to please sign Cedric, and they're not capitalizing on that momentum he had from the CWC.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, TJ Perkins, since him being a TNA guy before coming over here, it's going to take a while for them to adapt that. Because, see, right now, you got these WWE marks out here, or Vince McMahon come over and like, oh, TNA is taking over everything because AJ Styles is the new champion. And then you just going to put the Cruiserweight Championship on TJ Perkins, and what more you have to do. And I don't think fans truly get behind Brian Kendrick anymore because they don't know who he is. and they have not done a good job of illustrating who he is from back in the day. And
to the newer fans.
Yeah, to the newer fans, that they can say, hey, you know that New Day record that they broke? Kendrick in London had that record back in 2006. And he's like, oh, it can give us a reason.
Sure.
Like, who is Brian Kendrick? And how he was in the rivalry with Brock Lesnar in 2003. So they're just not,
sure.
Yeah, they're not doing it right.
What I was going to say is, what I loved what the Cruiserweight Classic did? Those interview pieces before every match. Phenomenal. They were simple. They were effective. You understood who these guys were. I didn't know who Jack Gallagher was. I didn't really know much about Akira Tozawa. I didn't know too much, believe it or not, about Kota Ibushi or, Zack Sabre Jr. I learned about these guys with those simple. And this show is 3 freaking hours long. You're telling me you can't air or film some of these and just do, literally the exact same thing on a larger show like Raw? I think if you would do that, simple shit, if you would slowly establish, what do you think? Would that help establish? Because I think it would, because it worked in the Cruiserweight Classic, so why not take that on the grander stage?
First of all, it only takes 30 seconds out of a 3-hour show. 3 hour, 15-minute show.
Takes overrun.
30 seconds. It don't take long. I do agree with you that it would help, give some backgrounds into these guys.
Yep.
And also give them the microphone.
Sure.
Because this is the same thing when they said Cruiserweights on Raw. The first thing I thought of was like, oh my God, it's going to be WCW all over again. And right now, they're proving my point where they're just having, we got the best wrestlers in the world, and we're going to just toss them out there and have a match. The difference with WCW is, though, that at that time, back in 94, 95, nobody's seen that style of wrestling before.
It was different. It was unique. And now it's like...
We've seen it already.
We have.
And don't get me wrong, it's still great form of wrestling.
Yeah.
But we've seen about 95% of the moves they got to the point where it's like, okay, now you can't just go out there and just wrestle. You have to build a character. You have to build a story. You have to build a rivalry, because right now there is no rivalry in the Cruiserweight division right now. And then Mardo Ronaldo and Dale Bryan was the ones that commentated the whole CWC, and they're both on SmackDown, and you put them on Raw.
And you have Michael Goat Puts Me to Sleep Cole. He's just boring. I mean, if Vince would get out of his ear, I know there's a good announcer, Michael Cole, so I don't want to harp on the guy too much. Maybe if Vince would just loosen up and let these guys just, I don't know, call the freaking match instead of shoving network plugs and all this other garbage that we don't care about. Maybe it could be good. But as it is going right now, it's not going good, except for Corey Graves. Corey, you're killing it. Got to show you my love from Pittsburgh, my hometown boys, so... But otherwise, it's just like Byron and Cole. Ugh.
Yeah, I was never a fan of Byron Saxton.
No.
And Michael Cole, he just fell so far from grace. And I think one of the biggest problems is 3-man announce teams.
Awful.
You need one face, one heel announce team.
That's it.
That's all you need. You don't need the tweener in there.
No.
And it's like, I think JBL could actually be successful, even though I'm not the biggest fan of him as a commentator, if they took David Otunga off.
Get him out. Exactly. JBL and Morrow. I think that could work. Hell, even what do you think of Cole and Graves? I think eventually, if you get Vince out of their ears, that could be it could develop. I could see potential there.
I really could, because I could agree with maybe Michael Cole, or maybe they could get somebody else to go toe-to-toe with Corey Graves, because I used to love the back and forth Corey Graves used to have with Booker T and King when they used to do the pre-show.
Sure.
And I would love to see some of that kind of stuff on the commentary table.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know what the plan is. They're going to keep losing viewers because this Monday is my Giants game, so I'm probably not going to watch.
Yeah, and we'll get into Raw by the end of this video. We'll talk about what's in store tomorrow. But anything else you want to add to these ratings? Because we're about to talk about SmackDown's ratings, which were actually a positive for this week.
Oh, yeah, no, I had nothing with the ratings. It's going to get worse before it gets better, people.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Probably not till January. They won't break out of this slump. So let's move on, folks. Here's some good news. Viewership for SmackDown Live this week. According to ShowBuzzDaily.com, this week's edition of SD Live, which featured the world title match between Styles and Ambrose, averaged 2.34 million viewers. This week's number is up a bit from last week's 2.292 million. SmackDown this week ranked number 5 for the night in viewership and continues to nip at the heels of Monday Night Raw as this week's Raw averaged 2.478 million viewers. So, yeah, good news for the Blue brand. I want to see this number. Like I said, it's still down from, I think, the highest it got was, 2.8 million?
Yeah, around that.
So I want to see this number continue to rise. I've been trying to tell as many people as I can, don't watch Raw. Watch SmackDown. SmackDown's the better show. I just feel like people have been so conditioned to accept that SmackDown, as it was for years, it was a nothing show. Nothing. If it happened on SmackDown, as Solomon Monster used to say, it didn't happen. But now we're seeing if it happened on SmackDown, it most certainly happened. SmackDown has been killing it. They've beaten Raw. I think it's 8-2 now in the battle between the brands. And it's just good. It's just good to see the number continue to go up. I want to see this show beat Raw in the ratings. It hasn't happened yet, but I know it can if they continue to put on these really good episodes. Your thoughts?
I would love to see them beat Raw in the ratings. That's a dream. I was always a huge fan of SmackDown when they did the draft in the first place. But like, to go back to your comment about people being conditioned, I don't think it's conditioned to watch Raw. I think it's that people are still trying to get used to it being on Tuesday.
That's good point. Yeah, I agree.
Because right now, like when I was watching SmackDown growing up, Thursday was the day on UPN, and then when they went to Friday night, I was like, okay, I can't do it may not be Thursday, but it's the day after it's Friday, so I could probably get what they went back to Thursday, but it was always at the end of the week. Right now, it's just trying to get used to like Raw. The next day is SmackDown. On top of that, it's on the same network.
Yeah, it's a jump. It really is.
I also think, believe it or not, like that kind of hurts a little bit.
It does. I agree. Fatigue I'm fatigued. I can't really suffer watching 3 hours of Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown. You have a pay-per-view that's another 3 hours. How much is that? 6, 7, 8 hours in a row?
Of live, like almost of live television of WWE a week, and it's back to back to back now. Yeah, and then
throw in NXT sometimes with their pay-per-views. You're looking at 10, 11.
Yeah, 10, 11 hours of wrestling within the first, and on top of that, this is early in the week.
Yeah,
this is very early in the week, and so a lot of people don't have the time like they do towards the end of the week to catch up on. The SmackDown. That's why you probably DVR it, and opposed to having the live ratings. Because back in the day, you had your Monday wrestling show, like you had your Monday sports show, and then Wednesday night or Thursday night you would have your Thunder, you would have your SmackDown, and then you get another break, and then you'll go on into the weekend and get your Shotgun Saturday night or your Heat. But there will be breaks in between. Now they asked us to do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 2 of them on the same network, almost in the same time frame.
Right. And there's main event. If anybody's still watching, I don't even know why they do that. And superstars, and it's just like, it's too much. Way too much.
I forgot. To be honest with you, if I didn't see the WWE 2K17 Universe mode, I didn't know them shows still existed.
Why do this? That's a whole nother talk. Like, get rid of them. It's a waste of television. Just stop. Seriously. Yeah. So, but anyway, it's encouraging to see this number go up. I'm really looking forward to the go-home edition of SmackDown this upcoming Tuesday. I will, of course, be reviewing it live, and No Mercy should be good. So, yeah, SmackDown's killing it right now, so hopefully these ratings continue to go up. So, anything else you want to add about the ratings this week?
No, like you said, you pretty much hit everything on the nose, but I see greatness coming for SmackDown as the year progresses, and once people start getting used to it, it can't go nothing but up.
Sure, it can only go up from here, folks. So, good point. Next article here we have update on 2 cruiserweights expected to appear on TV soon. According to PWInsider.com, CWC competitor Noam Dar is expected to begin appearing on WWE TV regularly in October. Additionally, Gran Metalik is finishing up some dates in Mexico and will begin working for WWE regularly once those obligations are complete. This is good news. I was a fan, particularly of Gran Metalik. Obviously, he made it all the way to the finals. Tremendous luchador wrestler, Noam Dar. I think he has a lot of potential as well. I thought he had good matches. What was it against? Zack Sabre Jr. And I actually thought that was his best match in the Classic. So, It'll
I
just
have to
be
agree with you.
yeah. It'll just be great to see these two guys added to the cruiserweight division, and hopefully they utilize them in a worthwhile manner. That's really all I have to say about this. Your thoughts?
Oh, okay. Well, one thing I do not want is Noam Dar on my screen, but I could not get into that guy. And after seeing that match with him a whole lot, I'm just like,
Yeah, that was
I thought I was sick now. But the Grand Metal League, I'm with him all the way. I love this guy. I'm glad that they're actually finishing up some dates so they can by October, November, these guys can be on there more permanently. But I also have a problem with that because see now y'all can't book 4 cruiserweights.
Yeah.
So it's like y'all want to have 16 out of 32 of these cruiserweights come on Raw, and you can't even book 4 of them.
Sure. I mean, the roster's already misutilized. The whole roster, Raw roster, is misutilized as it is. So, is it really going to help benefit them? I mean, it should because they have 3 hours. That was my hope. But I agree. I'm worried like you are.
I'm worried, like, and also it's like I know Raw's roster is very thin right now, especially who they want to push or not. But I can also see some of these guys that are getting signed. You can't put them on SmackDown. You can't put them in NXT.
NXT, I agree. Yes, that's we're seeing, which is good. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But good.
Oh yeah, but the Grand Metal League, I'm with that. But Noam Dar, I can care less where he goes.
Sure.
because I was just never a fan of him. Like I said, the best you said right on the nose. The best match he had was with Zack Sabre Jr. in the quarter, the semifinals, whatever it was. Because other than that, he was really dead air to me.
Sure. So, yeah, don't really have too much else to add to this article. So let's move on. We have an update, folks, on Seth Rollins. Here is his current status, as he stated on Twitter. He updated his Raw status in regards to the following. This is what he said for Raw tomorrow night in L.A. Wrestling hurts, but that's part of the price paid to live in dreams. Crushed ribs or not, I'll be in L.A. for Raw next week, ready to fight. So that's good news. I was really worried when I heard Seth was injured coming out of Clash of Champions. Yeah. I can't add that "the" in there. Why, I don't know. So, but this is good news. Maybe I'll tune in. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I might watch Raw, I might not. But I want to see Seth continue to metamorphose into a full-fledged babyface. I think that's the right thing to do. And this is just a good sign. And NC, your thoughts on Rollins, his injury, and what he said here.
Well, on a side note, I'm going to say no matter what you're doing tomorrow, it's probably better than watching Raw. Just putting it out there. but the whole Seth Rollins thing, I'm glad to see he's not really hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was just like, please don't do this again. But it was great that I think that confirms their Hell in a Cell match coming up at Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Between him and Owens, but I really think they should do away with that pay-per-view, but that's a topic for another time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I now since that's good news. I'm glad to see him back. I'm glad to see him, be active and hopefully, bring some more kind of heat to the storyline and hopefully, get something out with Triple H involved or something.
Sure, something, please. Anything.
Yeah. But I'm happy to see it.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be watching tomorrow, but whatever they end up doing, I'll probably catch some type of highlight of it. But getting back to, I hope they don't do a Hell in a Cell between these guys. I really think there should only be, it's kind of a minor side note here, 1 to 2 maximum Hell in a Cell matches. And looking at this pay-per-view, if I was going to construct this card, which I didn't even do card predictions, that's how disinterested I am with the Raw brand. It's just like, oh, man, another Raw pay-per-view. Because Clash was so exciting. It really was. No, it wasn't. It was a 3-hour Sunday Night Raw.
It really was.
It was. Literally. I could have, whatever. Anyways, back to Hell in a Cell. What I'm trying to say here, folks, is there's one match that I think should be contained in that cell. You know what that is, and they're doing the freaking match tomorrow. Why, I don't know. It's Sasha versus Charlotte. That's in my opinion. You probably heard me advocating this. It should be in the cell. At Hell in a Cell, it should main event, and that's where Sasha should win it back. Sorry about that. I had a brain fart. But yeah,
no, it's quite all right. It's like you are speaking through my soul right now because everything you just said is
Right on the
exactly
nail.
what I mean. Like, first of all, if you want to make history, I wouldn't mind putting the women in a Hell in a Cell match.
Hell yeah.
However, though, I have a fear that I think they have a fear that if they do this, Sasha's going to kill herself.
Yeah, well, that's a good concern.
That's a good. And as much as I would just love them to go in there, I'm not saying that these women have to go to the top.
No,
I'm sorry. The whole demographic, the media, the audience ain't ready for that
just
at all.
Being in the cage alone, I think would be.
But I just think that Sasha's going to try to do something so impressive to try to impress the fans that she can really hurt herself.
Yeah, she doesn't have to do like Cesaro didn't have to do that crazy freaking whatever it was called.
Oh yeah, the dive through the ropes like Lita and almost kill himself. Do that,
please. But yeah, as you were saying.
Yeah, but however, I do think that the idea is nice. Just like I thought that having back, if any of you guys out there on YouTube watch any of my show back during Money in the Bank, I said having a Money in the Bank women's match would be
different.
It'll be different. It'll be great, and it'll be something that they can capitalize it. But there were a lot of injuries at that time. But I know that they're going to put Roman Reigns and Rusev in this cell.
It doesn't need. That is not hell. This is the I shouldn't be in the cell. To me, it doesn't scream hell in a cell. When I hear hell in a cell, what do you think of? Mankind Taker, Mankind Triple H, Shawn Michaels Triple H, Triple H and Undertaker. A blood
Triple H, yeah.
Sure. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's just like, to me, that does not need to be in a Hell in a Cell. Make it a Falls Count Anywhere. That would make more sense.
No, Daniel, no. You can't have two gimmick matches that's not the same thing on a WWE card. You know better.
You're right. What am I thinking? I'm trying to, not water down the gimmick as it hasn't already been watered down enough. Hell, even Taker and Lesnar. I was okay with that being in the cell last year. And did we? Yeah. Was there only one cell match left? I can't remember.
No, because they had Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt.
Okay, well, that blew the feud off. I was okay with that, but to a degree. But I feel less okay with Rusev and Reigns in the cell. Just to me, it's like, why? Why? Because they had a freaking 30-minute match that went to a double countout and wasted my time?
Which is so stupid, but I won't dwell on that. But
we're going to move past that. That's in the past, and we put the past behind us.
Yeah, I really think Charlotte, Sasha, keep the whole Dana Brooke thing out because she's been, keep getting in Charlotte's matches.
Sure, keeps Dana out too.
Exactly, keeps Dana out. I think they're more worried about, okay, well, they want to double count out. A regular match can't contain Rusev and Roman Reigns. We got to put them in a cell, and I'm like, what sense does it make? So you mean to tell me they have a double count out? If y'all just made it a no count out, if y'all just made it a no holds bar, we wouldn't have this problem.
Sure. And then it blow the feud off because they've really just this could have been a good feud. It's just shitty writing. Ruined it.
It really is. And I'm seeing it's like watching two Rock'em Sock'em robots fight each other because they have the same exact style. And I'm like, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, great match. But Roman Reigns and Rusev, their styles are way too similar. That's like really seeing in a fantasy world Mick Foley versus Dude Love. No.
Yeah.
It's too much of the same. So I agree with you. Shouldn't be in the cell. While I love to see Sasha and Charlotte be in the cell, absolutely. Would they give it to me? No, they broke my heart too many times.
Yeah, they won't.
It's a relationship.
Don't worry, you're getting the match tomorrow on Raw. Yay.
Yeah, which I think Charlotte's still going to retain, and then there's going to be no point of doing the Sasha thing at Hell in a Cell. To be honest with you, after this match, there really should be no point in, storyline reference, I'm holding up air quotes here, that it should be another match afterwards.
Yeah, but they don't use logic, so they usually just pull stuff out of their ass, so we'll see.
We'll see.
Like I said. Speaking of Raw, here's another great segue. This was I hope this isn't true. Raw champion allegedly has heat for recent comments. Here we go. According to Dave Meltzer and 4FW Online, they're reporting that Raw Cruiserweight champion TJ Perkins allegedly has some backstage heat at the moment. The heat stems from recent comments that Perkins has made about he used to be homeless in the past. The reason the comments have hit a nerve with some in the back is because so many independent wrestlers have been in the same position and lost their homes. Meltzer claims that people are telling him that the attitude from some of the other wrestlers is essentially, we were just like that too. What's so special about that? During recent media rounds, Perkins has talked about his experience being homeless motivated him to succeed. I hope this ain't true. I hope this is just some made-up report. But if it is true, just like, really? He gets heat for that? Like, I don't see the big deal about it, you know?
Well, yeah, well, the first thing first is where we messed up as we said Dave Meltzer. So
yeah, hope yeah.
I don't know how true or golden that word is, but secondly, if this is true, and if anybody's saying anything about it, I'm like, really? Because the people that probably say something about it is probably the people that's not on TV.
Sure, it's
and
just
they're mad that they didn't use this story first.
And it seemed to me like the company was promoting it. So that's, his fact that he was homeless, they promoted it. And, in the Cruiserweight Classic, they gave him that nice speech at the end. So to me, they seemed like they were playing it up. So I don't see why he would be getting quote unquote heat. So that's why I threw this in here, but I didn't know really whether to believe it or not, like you said. So I don't think it turns out to be true, but we'll have to see if they go about the way booking TJ Perkins. We'll just have to see.
Well, we're going to have to say this. I don't know.
I just hate that guys get heat for stupid shit, for making a comment here and there. I mean, we all say stuff that we probably shouldn't say, but, just apologize or whatever, in certain situations and move on. Don't bury the guy and punish them like a Ziggler has been. Felt like Cesaro got punished for making comments. It's just like, why do that? It's so petty. And you want to invite – Vince says he wants people to challenge the system and – reach for that brass ring, but if they're all afraid to step on eggshells, how's anybody going to do that?
Yep, it's kind of like the world we live in today. So
it's PC friendly. God forbid you piss anybody off, So, like I said, anything else you have to say about this?
Absolutely not.
Okay, let's move on. Here's an interesting factoid from this recent interview that Kevin Owens gave. Talk about Triple H helping him win the title, backstage reaction, Finn Balor's injury, all yada, 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 all that. But the interesting thing was, at the end of this interview with Jonathan Coachman, this was on ESPN, told the coach simply that, who would you want to face at WrestleMania? And Owens simply said, I want Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. What do you think?
Y'all going to hate me out there.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Uh-oh.
Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar 2003. I'm with you. That'll be an excellent match. Brock Lesnar, present day Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. Now it's not because that won't be a good match. It would be, but Brock Lesnar's gimmick right now is not a wrestling match.
No, it's a destroyer.
Basically it's a destroyer. I know Brock Lesnar can be a great wrestler. He's an NCAA champion, and back to 2003, 2004, his run, that was great.
Yeah.
Great matches with Kurt Angle and all that. But the whole Suplex City gimmick is like, I don't want to see Kevin Owens get suplexed like 16, 20 times, may hit a super kick. Lesnar's not going to take a pop-up powerbomb. Lesnar's not going to take a package pile driver. He's not going to take any of Kevin Owens' moveset. So to be honest with you, it's just basically going to be a beatdown.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens deserves better than that.
Exactly.
I would rather see a Samoa Joe versus Lesnar before I see a Kevin Owens versus a Lesnar. Now, like I said, if this was Lesnar for 2003, I'm all game with it. But
that's a really good point. I agree. I think Joe versus Lesnar at this point would be the money match. That's the match I want to see. I'm sure a lot of other people want to see as well. So I hope that's where they go, Joe versus Lesnar, but we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But yeah, as WrestleMania, I think, honestly, to be right, I don't even think Kevin Owens is going to have the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah, we'll have to see where we'll have to see. Like I said, I'm trying a long-term plan, but I don't even think they know what the hell their long-term plan is. So, we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have to see. But I really think it's going to be a rematch between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that'd be money. I'd love to see
and then Finn Balor winning it like he did at SummerSlam. Because, like I said, I don't see Kevin Owens. I really think I really see them recycling Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn all over again. And that's going to be his WrestleMania opponent if I had to do a long-term booking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then. Here's an interesting. This is what I really am looking forward to talking about. Let's talk about the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And here are the current number of teams announced for the Classic. This is going to be a 16-man team. And currently, these are the following teams that, as of now, have been confirmed. We have Andreas Cien Almas versus Cedric Alexander. The Revival are going to be in it. Gargano and Ciampa are going to be in it. Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger, Glorious 10 are going to be in it. Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss are going to be in it. This one, it really jumps off the page. Hideo Itami and Kota Ibushi.
Oh, that's
awesome.
crazy.
The Bollywood Boys, TM61, Nico Bogojevic and Tucker Knight. The Authors of Pain, and recently confirmed as of today, Bin Wang and Ho Ho Lun. And Rich Swann, I really like this pair. I think this is going to be a fun pair. Rich Swann and no way, Jose. Oh, man. That's going to be killer. I just already know they're going to have instant chemistry together. Man.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the names that I just listed here?
Way better than last year. Sorry. This looks like a tag team classic. Last year, don't get me wrong, I liked it, but to me, the Finn Balor Samoa Joe thing was weird. Even more weird was Rhino and Baron Corbin. And I thought American Alpha should have won it. An actual team should have won it.
Sure.
In my opinion, but seeing all these different teams like Dakota Ibushi and Daniel Tommy won, that gets me really excited.
Wow.
Sanity or Insanity, whatever that new group where Eric Young is going to be in there.
They're going to. Yep. They'll probably be in. Man.
The whole was it Perfectly Glorious, as they call it, or Glorious,
awesome.
Whatever it is.
That's gonna be effing awesome.
If you want to get a Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger thing going, yes, they should go to the finals.
Sure.
In my opinion, and no, like I said, No Way Jose and Rich Swann.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun team.
Right now, I can't pick a winner, or I can't pick somebody.
That's what I love.
Yeah,
that's what I can't. I'll do a preview of it coming up. It kicks off this upcoming Wednesday, I believe. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do a preview video once we know all 16 teams. But this is exciting. I love. This is just what NXT needed, coming off the heels of what I thought was a tremendous pay-per-view, and they were kind of in a lull. But I knew once they announced the Classic, here's the direction for NXT going into Toronto. I love it. I love it.
I agree with you. The only team that I know that's not going to win is Ho Ho Lun, whatever team he's on.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But the rest of it, like last year, I predicted Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, and I was right. But this year, I have so many favorites, and there's no clear-cut winner, which gives me the element of surprise. So I am really waiting for it.
Definitely, this should be just fun to watch every single Wednesday. So this will be definitely good stuff. So actually interesting. I'll segue to this next topic, kind of going a little out of order, but it relates to what we just talked about. Backstage news on Kota Ibushi's WWE contract status. As noted, WWE has announced Ibushi will team up with Itami in this year's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament. According to Dave Meltzer, again, of 4FWOnline.com, Ibushi has not signed a full-time deal with WWE, but instead will be appearing for the company on a per-appearance basis. Ibushi has previously stated in interviews that he is not looking to sign with WWE full-time, as he has other interests he wants to fulfill in wrestling. But he is, however, open to working dates for WWE in the future. So it seems like for the time being, we'll definitely be, working some dates down in NXT, but I think it'll be a while before we see him. I don't know. I don't see him being in the Cruiserweight division on Raw. I just don't. Something tells me he won't be because, I heard he doesn't want to be, lumped in with them and kind of wants to do his own thing. And, what do you think about all this?
He doesn't want to be pigeon-toed. I get it.
Exactly. So it's nice seeing. I think it's going to be great seeing him and Itami team up. That's just going to be tremendous stuff. And think of it. I definitely think we could see him when NXT goes to Japan. It would make sense for him to be with them. Japan. So I could see him coming back and doing some dates, but when do you see him potentially signing full time? Because it will happen. I know it will. Because they wouldn't bring him in for these dates if they weren't sure it would happen.
Royal Rumble.
Okay.
I see him doing the Dusty Classic,
Yep.
but around the Royal Rumble time, because I don't think Kota Ibushi would work on the main roster or the live stage. I think he'll sign at NXT in time for NXT Takeover, whatever they do around WrestleMania.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and that way you can bring him in like a Shinsuke Nakamura, and actually build to something great with him there. But I don't think he comes to the main roster. I don't think he wants to come to the main roster.
I don't blame him. And does he speak English well or at all? Or because that will definitely be if going on the main roster, that would hurt him. I feel Vince would just I don't even want to think what he'd do.
He doesn't
yeah.
He doesn't speak English well. I don't think he speaks it at all.
See, Nakamura, that would concern me if they ever brought him to the main roster, that because Vince likes a guy that can cut a 15 to 20 minute promo. And, I just don't feel like Nakamura is ready at that point yet. I know he will get there, but it's going to take some time. So with Kota, you'd obviously have to grasp the English language, and we'd have to see, could factor that in, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see what happens, but it'll just be great seeing him, and him and Itami. That's gonna be a great team going forward. So I look forward to seeing how far they go in the Cruiserweight Classic. And I'm glad you brought up the Royal Rumble because perfect segue. It has been confirmed that the 2017 Royal Rumble pay-per-view I always look forward to watching will take place in San Antonio, Texas. The 2017 event will be the 20th anniversary of the 1997 Royal Rumble, which took place at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio in front of 60,525 fans, which is still the largest crowd in Rumble event history. And Rumble will be taking place exactly on January 29th, 2017. So mark your calendar, folks. It's one of the most exciting pay-per-views to watch. Felt this year really was a really good, solid Royal Rumble pay-per-view after the last couple of years left a lackluster taste in my mouth. And hopefully they continue next year. I think it'll be with the roster, and the way it's the call-ups, I think it's going to be a really good Royal Rumble. I really do.
I'm really excited for it. Hey, Shawn Michaels, for going back to, one of your hometowns. So it's great that they're going back there afterwards. You said 20 years.
Yep.
It really should be exciting. It really should be exciting. I'm calling Finn Balor to win it.
I agree. Me too. Surprise return shocks everybody. He's back. Number 30 writes itself. The story writes itself.
It does, but I doubt Vince will put him number 30 though.
Sure, it'll be maybe 20. 27's a lucky number, right?
It's 27. Number 30 has to go to like DDP or something.
Sure. So this is good news. Like I said, it was either rumored to be, I was hearing LA or San Antonio. So like I said, it'll be awesome to see it in a larger venue. It's great seeing, show places in larger venues besides a WrestleMania. It just makes it stand out and hopefully be that much more memorable. It's like, wow, 60,000 or whatever they'll be able to fit in there, which I know they'll have no problem doing. So I can't wait for the Royal Rumble. I always love it.
Uh-huh.
So,
I agree. And dang, WrestleMania is what I can look forward to.
Yes. So 2017 already shaping up nicely. Let's get into some injury news. Here's about Paige. We've been hearing some stuff that she might have to undergo possible neck surgery. And this is what she said on her Twitter this past week. Thanks to the doctor yesterday, one of the best doctors I've seen, gave me 2 great surgery options. Make you think about risk you have to take when it comes to this business. The things you put your body through to entertain the masses. Still wouldn't change it for the world. Thanks to everyone for the continued support. So Paige might have to undergo the knife for neck surgery. Not the news that I was hoping to hear. I was hoping to see Paige back on TV fairly soon, but I think after hearing this, we might not be seeing her for the next couple of months. We know she's been dealing with some health problems, and it's tough. She's what, only 24?
Yeah. She's very, very young, and that news with the surgery is really a downer because I really was like to see Paige come back. I know she's been going through that whole thing with Alberto Del Rio and everything, and that whole scandal or rumor or whatever you want to call that.
Sure.
However, like she's young. I really hope she bounces back though.
I think she will. once she heals up and whatnot and comes back to Raw, because they could desperately use another woman on that roster, especially somebody like Paige, I feel has all the potential and really has, they really haven't scratched the surface with her.
No, they haven't scratched the surface with Paige at all. But my only fear is that since the Raw's women's roster is so thin right now, and depending on how they book their storylines, I'm kind of hoping Paige still has the passion to come back for wrestling.
Right.
Yeah,
that is definitely a concern.
Yeah, I want her because I don't want to be like Lita, like when Trish left and Lita said, "There's really nothing here. I'm leaving as well." And it's like, okay, the woman just went to shit after that. But it's just that I kind of hope she does come back. I hope she comes back strong, comes back, gives more depth to Raw, and I hope that when she does come back, they treat it like a big thing.
She is. She should be treated like a big deal. She was the first NXT Women's Champion. And
yes, she was.
Yes, she was, and she beat AJ Lee on her debut on Raw. And there's just so much potential to this to Paige. She's been one of my favorites since I saw her make her debut, which was only 2 years ago. Hasn't been that long, and I felt like she's been underutilized for the last couple of months or so. And I just really like to see her come back with her heel, babyface, anti-diva. I don't care what it is. Just do something with her. She's talented. She deserves to be utilized, especially with a brand split nonetheless. So hopefully, Paige, rest up, you heal up, and you come back better than ever, because we certainly miss you.
Exactly. Same with Emma, wherever she's at.
Yes, Emma hopefully comes back soon. We'll have to see. So, anything else you want to add about Paige and her injury status?
No, like I said, I hope she bounced back. Hope she bounced back strong.
Okay. And rounding up the last portion of the news here, we have, this is somewhat of a scary situation. If you haven't heard, WWE star Jamie Noble was stabbed twice and is currently hospitalized. According to Pro Wrestling Sheet, WWE star Jamie Noble has been hospitalized after he was stabbed 2 times early Wednesday morning inside of a trailer park. The Mercer County Sheriff's Office is reporting Jamie Noble allegedly returned home early in the morning from a live event after a long drive and then left to get a snack while his girlfriend took a bath. Upon returning to Shadowwood Mobile Home Park, driver pulled in behind his car and got out to accuse Jamie of cutting him off the road. Jamie allegedly apologized, but the 2 men continued to argue, and Noble eventually took the man to the ground when things got physical. Police officials say 2 other men got out of the suspect's car at that point. This is crazy, and at least one stabbed Jamie once in the upper back and once in the mid-back spine area before, of course, like cowards, fucking assholes, taking off. EMS were called, and Jamie Noble was eventually treated, then taken to the emergency room. WWE is reportedly aware of the situation and they've already made contact with the police. Sources say Noble is currently in the hospital, but no longer in the ER. That's good. His condition is unclear. This is just scary stuff. I mean, it's just like a guy on the road pulls over, allegedly thinking he cut him off, and then he gets stabbed. I mean, man, what a crazy world this is. I mean, it's just like, sad to hear.
It's very unfortunate to hear that this situation happened. I really feel for Jamie Noble, and no athlete or first of all, nobody period should have to deal with that kind of attempted rivalry, because you got these punks out here who think they're somebody want to be selfish because they care about themselves other than other people.
Yep.
And I just felt. It's sad also that when I first heard this, they said it happened at a trailer park, right? Or his trailer park?
Yes. His trailer park, correct.
Yeah. And, it's sad that when you have these athletes or these celebrities who want to be just average people and, don't have to move to Hollywood or Beverly Hills and have these big houses and they actually want to live where they're from, that they can't even do that, it seems like.
No, I mean, all it took was for this guy to think that he cut him off, and Jamie tried to explain, and it's just like these people are nuts. It's crazy. I mean, I almost had some lady cut me off and almost hit right into my car because she was doing a turn in the parking lot, and I'm like, no, you were wrong. You didn't use your turn signal. You almost hit me. You would have been at fault. So it's just like, I hate driving. That's just another issue in general I could go on about.
Road rage is deep, but yeah, so.
It's awful.
It is awful. I'm glad he's out the ER. I'm really pulling for Jamie Noble, to come back to make a strong comeback. It's very unfortunate, and I hope they catch this guy. who did this to
Good.
him.
Get him.
And it is throw the book at him if that still works.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers and make a full and speedy recovery, my friend.
I agree.
So that's it. So, yes. And that's it, folks, for the news portion of the Giza Wrestling Report. And to round things out, we're not really going to talk about Raw. Let's talk about, we have some SmackDown talking points that we're going to get into. And then we'll do our preview for Raw tomorrow night from LA. So SmackDown this week, we both did our own respective reviews, so be sure to check those out on our channels. But some things I wanted to talk about from this tremendous episode of SmackDown. Miz versus Ziggler being announced for the IC title with Ziggler's career on the line. So we have a very interesting match on No Mercy. I'm already really excited to tune into No Mercy, and this already upped my level of excitement for No Mercy. What do you think of the match, how this was set up? I thought it was beautiful. I'm loving what they're doing between Miz and Ziggler for the IC title.
This is just all you need. Simple. That was the most simple, but yet most heart-wrenching promo segment we had on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
To date. And I'm the one saying that out there. Ziggler showed great compassion that shows that he is great on the mic. Miz was a great heel. Them bringing their parents in there, I thought that I knew something was going to happen. I know what it was. I'm really excited for No Mercy. I just fear that Ziggler is probably going to go.
He might.
I really think he's burnt out and he's tired. And it's like, for what?
Sure.
So that's why that scares me. But I love the feud. I'm more excited for No Mercy now. Daniel Bryan should have a Maurice band from ringside, or
yeah, you could add that.
Or or if the Miz cheats and the win again, then it should it has to be something where it's be 1-on-1 where the Miz just beats him cleanly and he goes off as a good heel and Dolph Ziggler goes into the win, or Dolph Ziggler wins and they keep this rivalry going.
Maybe. Hey, that's the thing I love. This thing could potentially go either way.
It can.
And just the way they've been building this up, I'd be okay if it went either way. So we'll have to see. It'll be another these guys, I keep saying, they have great chemistry with one another. They've always have. Never seen them have a bad freaking match. They're going to go into No Mercy and, tear the house down. So, hey, I really think it's just helped. Miz is killing it right now as one of the top heels in WWE, and it should just be good to watch. I'm really looking forward to it.
I do agree with it.
Let's also talk about, I felt Styles Ambrose, damn good main event match on this show. Blew anything that Raw had to offer out of the water. I loved the dynamic between Styles, Ambrose, and Cena. I thought that was very well done on this week's edition of SmackDown. I'm really hyped for the triple threat match upcoming this Sunday at No Mercy. How about you?
Yes. Oh, I am extremely hyped for that. Like, I'm actually the triple threat match, the Miz and Ziggler match. I cannot wait to see how these guys' styles clash. It is potential for Cena to actually become 16-time champion, but I don't think he's going to touch that this year.
No, I don't either.
I think that it may be like a Ric Flair thing where he does it on his way out.
Sure.
And I don't see Cena. Exactly. I don't see Cena going nowhere no time soon.
No. So that was good. We also I enjoyed the build between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I really liked the mind games, Orton hunting for Bray Wyatt. It was something different. I really commend them for going, out of the box, and, Orton confronting Bray. I thought it was the best stuff in this feud to date. So that was good. What did you think of the build between Orton and Wyatt this week?
I mean, I liked it. I was waiting for Saul 8 to come out, and that's what he reminded me of. So, yeah, I actually liked it. I didn't like how, the studio people botched
that was kind of funny, though. I actually got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, guys. But you know what? Overall, it was good. That new devil-looking air-growing sheep mask, I was like, oh, you're doing something that makes you look cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. And I was kind of hoping Luke Harper came back.
Not yet, but I think he is. He's coming back. He's cleared, so he will be back soon. And I hope he reunites with the Wyatts. And there's another addition to the SmackDown tag team scene. Boom.
Exactly, which they can use as well.
Sure. And speaking of, perfect segue right here, how about those Usos and their heel turn now being 100% complete? They're on a roll. They're killing it. New music, new look, new attitude, new intensity. They dropped the happy-go-lucky, hey, we're faces, and they're such good heels right now that I'm actually, I'm rooting. I can't wait to see American Alpha, or if it's Slater and Rhino, I bet they're going to build towards Alpha, chasing them for the titles, and it's going to be fucking great.
It is
Can't
going to
wait
be
for
great.
that. Yes, it will.
But I do have two things, though.
Yes.
50% of me, I agree with everything you just said. The other 50% of me is, here's the thing about the Usos. I love how they did a 360 change.
Oh, yeah.
But the only thing is, I want the Usos to be a heel, and please forgive me if I'm offending anybody out there, instead of being hood. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it's kind of like when you had Crime Time, and, it's just like you got these guys that, just because the hood stereotype kind of frightens people, that makes them bad guys. Whereas to actually being a good wrestling heel, that's the only thing I don't want the Usos to fall apart of.
Sure.
Because that shows over wrestling in the past that stuff doesn't work. In my perspective, we've had people that have tried to go quote unquote hood, for lack of better words, and have tried to do that, and with that hood personality, makes you like it scares people, where it mostly makes you look stupid opposed to actually a good wrestling heel. That's what I'm hoping that the Usos actually do develop and become good. They're on the right track, because see, when they're doing it, they're working on the legs.
That's beautiful.
Things.
Yes.
Yeah, I want them to do things that would make the fans turn on them, not just because they dress hard or they dress like, once again, like a culture that people may not understand. So,
right. What do you think about the arrogance and just the attitude that for instance, on the show, they showed, was it the week before? I just love that promo that they cut on, who was it, Slater and Rhino, when they confronted them and showed them complete lack of disrespect. And we're just like, we're going to kick your asses pretty much. We don't care who the hell you are. We don't care that you're the tag team champions. We're taking those titles and we'll kick your leg out. Yeah.
What would have really made me hate the Usos if he knocked Rhino's crackers out of his hand instead of Rhino doing it? Then I would have been like, now that's heel. Instead of going there trying to be hard, I was like, if you went in there and just as soon as first day he came in there and knocked Rhino's crackers out of his hand, now that's a heel move right there.
You don't mess with Rhino and his was it the cheese crackers?
Yeah, the cheese crackers. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I was hoping to see from them. And it's kind of like I want them to like troll the audience a little bit. Like if they go for the Uso splash and then they say, "No, I'm not going to do it."
Yes.
Yeah. It troll the audience that way. I think you could really get some good heel heat that way. I just hope they don't fall into the category of trying to be a stereotype of trying to be heel instead of actually going out and being a good wrestling heel.
That's a valid concern. I'm glad you brought that point up. Anything else you want to add to the Usos and their heel turn?
I hope they win the tag team titles, though, come No Mercy, and then we can have American Alpha Usos feud going into the Survivor Series.
I can't wait for that. That's just going to be good stuff between two of the best teams in WWE. So let's also, one final bullet point here that I wanted to talk about was I've really enjoyed the build for the two feuds, Nikki and Carmella, and Bliss versus Lynch, obviously for the SmackDown Live Women's title. I love how SmackDown is really utilizing all the women on their roster compared to just Raw, focusing on Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha and Nia Jax. I mean, that's really the only focus. I really SmackDown with the what's the word I'm looking for? With less of a roster, they've really been able to catch fire, and they're focusing on Naomi and giving Natalya time to shine. It's just like all the women seem to be getting an opportunity, and I love it. I really love the SmackDown Live Women's division.
I agree with you. The SmackDown, I think Raw has the more talent, but SmackDown has the better booking when it comes to their women.
Yep.
And I'm loving the Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch feud. I love how she came out and tagged Becky Lynch because she's about to go into a match against question mark because all the women already fought already.
Sure.
But I did like that. And however, I'm kind of want to see where they're going with the Naomi Natalya thing. Mm-hmm. I see that being a pre-show at No Mercy.
Okay.
And at first, I couldn't get behind Carmella's heel turn, but however, she has grown on me as a heel now.
See, there you go.
She has grown on me, and I think Nikki Bella is going to put her over at No Mercy.
That would make sense.
Now, because Nikki Bella's the longest reigning Divas champion. She's been since 2010.
She's done it all.
Yeah, she's done it all. So I think now, if you want to bring some credibility back to SmackDown, have Carmella go over, which I think is the right business move. I'll just be mad because it'll be my fantasy points. But other than that, Carmella, should probably go over.
Helps put her over as a heel, and her and Nikki can continue the feud. So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
So that is it, folks, for our SmackDown talking points. Let's move on to the final segment of the Giza Wrestling Report. It's going to be a preview for tomorrow night's edition of Monday Night Raw. What we have on store for Raw tomorrow, as I mentioned, it's Sasha versus Charlotte in a one-on-one rematch for the WWE Raw Women's title. This will be interesting. What I would like to see is, I actually don't want to see the match take place. I feel like, why are you having this match take place again? Why are you doing these rematches on free TV? This should have been saved for the pay-per-view, but I'm sure they'll go out there. They'll have a damn good match. It's just, I don't want to see the match over and over and over again until I get sick of it by the end of it. You know what I mean? It's just like, by the time we get to the pay-per-view, doesn't feel as special if they wrestle all the time.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Do you think this will main event?
It should.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go off the limb here. I think it main events. And I think it goes to a no contest.
Okay.
I don't see, because you got to have something for Hell in a Cell.
You do.
If you have Sasha win it, there's no point for Charlotte to go back.
Well, she gets a rematch, but then it's like, yeah, okay.
But see, we already broke that rule when Sasha lost it at SummerSlam.
Yep.
And it's
That's
just like,
true.
and so, I don't know how they will go with that. And if Charlotte wins, and it's like, okay, well, Bayley's not ready yet. Nia Jax, probably needs to go into a more meaningful feud, and then there's nobody for Charlotte to face, and we had a women's title match at Hell in a Cell. My hope is it goes to a no contest where Dana Brooke gets involved or something of that nature, where Mick Foley says, Hell in a Cell, but probably not going to happen. But I think it goes to a no contest tomorrow night.
Okay. We'll have to see. We also have on the Raw preview, will Seth Rollins continue to defy Raw General Manager Mick Foley? It says it's unclear as to whether Rollins will be medically cleared Monday night in the City of Angels. He will undoubtedly attempt to get his hands on Owens once again. If that's the case, Foley might be pushed too far, and the consequences for the man could be severe. Like I said, I'm liking what they're. I'm just happy Seth Rollins is finally headed in the direction of a babyface. I'm just hoping that, I don't know. Give me a reason to cheer. I want to cheer this guy, and just, I don't know, the feud between him and Owens, besides that really good promo when Rollins stormed down to the ring and interrupted Owens and got right in his face, that was great stuff. But since then, there really has been nothing, Yeah.
It seems like it's been focusing more on Owens and Jericho opposed to Owens and Rollins.
Yeah, it's like, where is the focus? I mean, Jericho interrupted the match at Clash, and then, it's like, what the hell are we doing? It just feels like a mess.
Exactly, it does. So I don't know where they're going to go with it.
We'll have to see. We also have on the docket, Cesaro and Sheamus continue their tag team quest. It says they blah, blah, blah. Clearly their team-building skills could use more work if they have any chance of ending the New Day's historic Raw tag team title reign. So it seems like that is the path that they are headed on. I'm not a fan. I like the idea, but to me it just flies in the face of having us sit through 7 of these matches in the best-of-7 series. And then you're just going to have them team up with one another instead of giving Cesaro maybe a Universal Championship opportunity, which is what I was hoping would come out of this. I mean, yeah, they're going to go up against the New Day, but I could just see them losing against the New Day. If the New Day is going to beat Demolition's record. So what's the point of this?
There really is no point. I thought I could see a point, but there is none, unfortunately. And what was I saying? It really gave me a break for a moment. But they're going through the Colonel Crispin, wild thing. He should not be named kind of tag team dynamic when they had this rivalry and then Stephanie put them in a tag team. If they do win the titles, it'll be kind of disheartening, but it'll give something for them to do, because if one went for the Universal title, the other one had nothing to do.
Sure. So
they're trying to keep them relevant.
Poor Cesaro. Just put him on SmackDown, please. Exactly. I'll keep saying it until it happens. Like, seriously. So we'll see what they do with that. We also have, apparently, I thought it was supposed to be Kendrick versus Perkins for the Cruiserweight title, but apparently it's just a one-on-one contest now, so I have no idea what the hell they're doing. Is it a title match? Isn't it a title match? We don't know. We just booked this shit week to week, which just clearly shows based on how this changed, So
because it definitely was a Cruiserweight match, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the championship. And now it's apparently just a one-on-one match. Because that's what I'm reading right here.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay, so we'll see. It's sure it'll be a good match, but it's like, it just feels cluttered, confused, no direction, which is pretty much how Raw feels. And then, are you ready for this? We got Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson from That 70s Show. They're coming to confront Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Yep, because this is where my Universal Champion needs to be in.
See, you go back to your point, like, what the hell are they doing with Owens? Is he with Rollins? He's got these guys coming on from Hollywood, That 70s Show. I'm like, what are we doing?
I mean, like, it'd be different if That 70s Show was, still playing, but it's not anymore. Even though I did love that show, but it's not playing anymore. And didn't we learn when Dr. Phil came that the celebrity thing does not work?
Actually, I did like Dr. Phil. I didn't think I would, but he actually was enjoyable. Believe it or not, somehow, some way, it worked.
Yeah, I get your point. Too bad the audience didn't, and they were booing him, unfortunately. So I can only imagine how, like, maybe Ashton Kutcher gets a pop-up powerbomb, he's gonna take it sloppy. Maybe, I don't know how it's gonna work.
I think Jericho will be entertaining as hell, so that'll be gold. Him and Owens, their dynamic is amazing to watch. I think it can work. I think it can. There's, it's just if you play it out right, but it's still like, whatever. I
agree. It should be the main event.
That's our lineup for Raw. Yeah, it probably will be. Are you excited? Who's excited for Raw?
If I am, I'll let you know because I'm not there.
Okay. Like I said, I'm going back and forth. I don't know if I'm going to watch Raw. I mean, if I am, I'm probably just going to tune it out. And if it's bad, just go to bed and not waste my time. I have to get up early on Tuesday. I'll get more sleep. I could just screw it. I'll DVR it and fast forward through half the crap the next day.
Or you could do that Hulu edition, because that's exactly what I've been doing.
Sure, and isn't that just so much easier than watching it for all 3 hours?
For all 3 hours, and I doubt I'm going to watch it because my Giants are playing tomorrow. So
yeah, you got a lot to watch, so I don't blame you for not watching. So, folks, this brings us, like I said, to the end of the Giza Wrestling Report. I want to say thank you to NC for joining me for this edition. Like I said, we had a great conversation. NC, you can, of course, get a plug in for your channel.
Well, first thing first, Daniel, I appreciate you having me on here. And for all the listeners out there, please check out this man's channel. This man he's great at what he does. He has great reviews, great conversations. I watch all his videos. I support this man. I recommend you guys go out there. You guys support this man and what he's doing. This Giza Wrestling Report is probably one of the most interesting things on the wrestling circuit in YouTube right now. So I recommend anybody that's listening or just has tuned in, make sure you do check out Daniel Giza's stuff. And if you want to see anything from what Nerd Coalition is doing, what special business is every Monday at 6. I didn't have one last week, but I will have one tomorrow at 6 p.m. So make sure you guys check that out. Destruction of the Shield is the name of the episode. Make sure you check us out on our Facebook at Nerd Coalition at Facebook and at Twitter at Undeterred Nerd. On Twitter.com. Still trying to get, how to work out the Twitter thing right now. But yeah, make sure you guys check all that stuff out. I don't know if there will be a Raw review up tomorrow night or Tuesday morning, to be completely honest. But make sure we do have things coming, and please stay tuned when WWE 2K17 comes out. There will be much gameplay footage of that, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button.
Definitely, and that's another thing. I'm getting 2K17. You're getting 2K17. PS4 or
Yes,
Xbox?
PS4, PS4.
I'll have to add you. You have to hit me up on there. Going to be making videos like you will, so maybe we can do some collaborations possibly. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not really that good with doing the video capturing, but I'm sure you're more. What's the word? I can't even think of the word right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that. If you want to do it, I got you. Let's do it that way.
Awesome. So we'll talk about that after the report closes out. But yeah, thank you, NC, for joining me. Thank you for all who commented down in the comments section and who tuned in live. Remember to please click my like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. Might be a Raw review tomorrow, might not be, so can't really say about that. But there will definitely be a SmackDown Live review coming. There will also be a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic preview video coming, NXT review, No Mercy preview and predictions video, and of course, No Mercy review the following week. So tons of content coming soon to this channel. My, oh my, how time flies. It's already October. Where does the time go? So
Where does it go?
yes, indeed. So I'm exhausted. We're both exhausted. So thank you all for tuning into this podcast. And until next time, guys, we will both see you in on our own respective channels and videos. So thanks, everybody, and have a great night.